Meet Tommy. He's a guy from Liberty City, fresh out of a 15-year prison stint. He was sent to Vice City to make a bunch of money for the Forelli crime family. The year is 1986, and Tommy here has a problem. He was ripped off and lost a bunch of coffee and a big old briefcase full of cash that belonged to his boss, Sonny.
That was my money, Tommy! My money!
Say it, don't spray it, brother. Dang.
To put it lightly, Sonny was pissed. So investigations cost money. Tommy needed an income, so to set one up, he delivered pizza.
Pizza time.
That didn't make him a lot of money. After he politely asked to borrow a taxi driver's car, he became a taxi driver.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
After every 5 fares, he made $500 as a bonus, and that kept increasing by another $500.
Money!
Why does one need so much money?
Guns. Lots of guns.
Vice City has a lot of crime, organized and unorganized. Ironically, the biggest organized crime bosses were all at one yacht party. A party that Ken Rosenberg was invited to. Due to the botched deal, though, Rosenberg was afraid to show his face, let alone leave his law office. So he gave his invitation to Tommy. Upon Tommy's arrival, the who's who of Vice City's elite were before him. From politicians to shady car salesmen and even a film director. The host was a man by the name of Colonel Juan Garcia Cortez, and he asked his daughter to show him around. His daughter was a beautiful young woman by the name of Mercedes, and she did indeed show Tommy around happily. Through working with Ken Rosenberg, he was told about a man by the name of Kent Paul. This British idiot had a lot of connections, and he knew of a chef who was part of the Black Ops team that ambushed the initial deal. The chef was at a restaurant and was on shift. Upon arriving at the alley of said restaurant, Tommy found the chef and was about to question him. The chef then challenged Tommy to a fight, and Tommy was forced to fight for his life. And unfortunately, he managed to beat the chef to death. He picked up his phone, though. Then out of nowhere, a mysterious man in a white suit appeared. He had also wanted to ask the chef questions. It was revealed that the Black Ops team had taken out the mysterious man's brother during the initial ambush. The chef's co-workers attempted to counterattack, but the mysterious man and Tommy escaped. So as a gesture of good faith, the mysterious man showed where a local gun shop was. As mentioned before, Tommy needed
Guns. Lots of guns.
a real estate agent by the name of Avery Carrington was in need of reliable hands. Naturally, he came to Tommy, and he was more than willing to pay. So Tommy started a riot to crush a union forming at a construction site, played some golf while using a rival real estate agent as his ball, and completed a big job that lowered the price of a building.
Miss and mess around, I'll bust your wise ass toy.
Due to the level of heat Avery was getting, he took a much-needed vacation with the intention of returning later. This was the start of a new chapter for Vice City, with Tommy as the conductor. A fixer by the name of Colonel Juan Garcia Cortez was a man with his ear to the ground. However, he would work a favor for a favor. Tommy reluctantly agreed to be a reliable man once again. Fortunately for Tommy, after helping Colonel Cortez resolve a few issues by liquidating assets around Vice City, he realized that he was a man of his word. After silencing a man by the name of Gonzalez and pissing off the French government.
The rain, she's très wet this time of the year.
What?
Ah,
I'll
comment?
pay if you
Look,
play.
Cortez sent me. Just give me the damn chips.
Oh, d'accord.
Prise impérialiste American pig that is propriété de the gouvernement français. Hand it over!
You American.
Evidence pointed to a local coffee exporter by the name of Ricardo Diaz. However, Tommy needed a plan and decided to infiltrate Diaz's inner circle by working for him directly. Luckily for Tommy, Cortez knew of a deal that Diaz was about to be a part of, and asked Tommy to help oversee it. The mysterious man appeared and introduced himself. His name was Lance. They went to oversee the deal. Diaz was dealing with the Cubans, and the Haitians ambushed that deal. Tommy and Lance protected Diaz, but one of the Haitians grabbed the money and ran. Tommy gave chase and gunned down the thief and returned the money to Diaz, thus entering Diaz's world. Unpredictable, filthy rich, surrounded by guards constantly, an overall pain in the ass, and worst of all, he lived in a palace. Ricardo Diaz was a man of power and instability. In an effort to infiltrate his ranks and dig for much-needed intel, Tommy accepted a job offer. From murdering thieves and ambushing rivals with Lance, to stealing a boat, to using said boat to acquire a shipment. This was all good intel. The evidence was stacking up, and it became painfully obvious that Diaz hired the Black Ops team to ambush the initial deal that got Lance's brother killed. Tommy wanted to learn as much as possible from Diaz before he took over, but Cortez had a few more favors to ask. Cortez needed a few more favors. He needed Tommy to steal a tank, and in turn he gave word of who he suspected as the mastermind of the initial ambush, Diaz. Avery Carrington returned to town and asked Tommy to stir up trouble between the Haitians and the Cubans. He wanted a gang war to happen for real estate prices to drop so he could purchase more properties in Vice City. Lance grew impatient, so much so he went off without a plan and got captured. Kent Paul had heard what had happened and called Tommy. He had carefully been trying to earn Diaz's trust and now was forced to mount a rescue operation. After fighting through what appeared to be a well-armed military unit, he slowly made his way to Lance, who was being tortured. Fortunately for Lance, Tommy got there in time. Badly wounded, Lance needed to be taken to a hospital to recuperate for a couple of days. So days later, Tommy and Lance met outside of Diaz's palace. Lance had acquired a couple of carbine rifles, and they mounted an assault on the palace. Diaz had men everywhere on the property. They fought their way through waves of Diaz's protection detail until they made their way into the mansion. They fought more guards until they found Diaz, and they finally confronted him. Tommy and Lance had finally done it. They took Diaz out.
Had you made? Say goodnight, Mr. Diaz.
Diaz not only exported coffee, he also ran protection rackets. These businesses he was racketeering were legit. So the money coming in laundered the money from his coffee business. News traveled fast in Vice City, as the business owners had already known that Diaz had passed away suddenly due to acute lead poisoning. They stopped making payments and money stopped coming in. Tommy went to the mall in order to renegotiate a payment plan. Overall, the owners agreed to the new business terms and accepted Tommy as the new property manager. There were other business assets to acquire, so Tommy began to buy more and more businesses and improved others, thus building an empire. The businesses that were improved had owners that were extremely grateful. Colonel Cortez had one final problem. The French government was closing in. He asked Tommy for help. He accepted his offer and aided Cortez and his staff as they began a journey to get to international waters. The French government didn't make it easy, though. Tommy, Cortez, and his men had to kill a lot of French operators. There were some more shop owners that ended up paying for a security company. This was bad for business. Lance was just sitting on his ass and contemplating his next move, but Tommy was a man of action. He grabbed two of the guys and they put the other security company out of business. Just as Tommy was about to take stock, Lance had yet another problem. There was this other business within the mall. It was with a heavy heart that it was decided it was best to cut ties permanently.
Okay, timers are set. 5 seconds and ticking.
5 seconds! We got to get the hell out of here!
The Malibu Club was the hottest club in town. Tommy decided to buy it. The music was great, the bar had constant business, and the VIP lounge became the perfect place to plan a heist. A team needed to be formed to execute such a feat. This was a 4-man job. A driver, gunman, safecracker, and a mastermind were needed to complete this job. Naturally, Tommy became the mastermind. The safecracker. Cam Jones was the man to speak to about getting a safe cracked. Most importantly, he understood the specific safe at the bank. There was a big problem, though. He was in jail. More specifically, he was in a holding cell within a VCPD precinct. Tommy, being a problem solver that he was, disguised himself as one of Vice City's finest and mounted a jailbreak. After escaping the clutches of the VCPD, Cam joined the team. Cam knew of a Vice City local by the name of Phil Cassidy. He was a gun nut who spent his time at the gun range. It was like he slept with the gun under his pillow. He was one hell of a shot. For Tommy to recruit him, he had to shoot targets with more accuracy than he was used to. Like a lot more. Easier said than done. Once he proved he was worthy enough, Phil joined the team.
Area clear!
So, you want to do me a favor and help me put together a job?
Son,
After shooting like that, if you asked me to be your wife, I'd say yes.
What the fuck, bro? Phil introduced Tommy to Hillary King, the best driver in Vice City. This poor bastard had a lady's name and abandonment issues. All Tommy had to do was beat Hillary in a street race. Once again, easier said than done.
Okay, I'll drive for you, but please, treat me bad.
With the personnel issue taken care of, the team piled into a taxi and drove to the bank to make a withdrawal. After dressing for the occasion, Tommy, Phil, and Cam walked into the bank as Hillary took a drive away from the bank to look like a taxi on duty. Phil ran crowd control. Cam and Tommy made their way to the safe. The safe had an unexpected update. Cam needed the bank manager. Tommy found the manager and encouraged him to help Cam. Someone hit the alarm and caused Phil to get Tommy's attention, as a VCPD SWAT team was about to storm the building. As this went down, the safe cracked, and boom! The SWAT team initiated their raid. After punching through VCPD's perimeter inside, they made their way back outside. VCPD was everywhere. Hillary came out of nowhere driving the taxi and jumped out to provide cover fire, but was immediately gunned down and killed by the VCPD. The remainder of the team punched their way to the SWAT team's outside perimeter and piled back into the taxi and left behind a lot of confusion and their dead comrade as they escaped.
We made it! We're rich! Rich!
Oh, hi there, Mercedes. Yeah, I'm a little tense.
What I tell you, Tommy? What I tell you? Thanks, what better watch out when Ken Paul is in town. Come on, give me a bigger slice, mate. Come on, I've got to get some new friends.
Tommy purchased Kaufman Cabs. This cab company has been there and done that. Hell, the dispatch lady has literally seen everything. Unbeknownst to Tommy, Kaufman Cabs was at war with VC Cabs. Tommy was sent to pick up a VIP client, and a rival cab driver from VC Cabs swooped in and stole the client. Tommy was instructed to ram the other car in an effort to get the client back. He did. After this, VC Cabs counterattacked and started to swoop in and steal more clients. Tommy was sent to do some offense. He became Kaufman's enforcer. 3 of VC Cab's drivers were all tragically killed in car accidents. Finally, after what seemed to be a long war, Tommy felt some breathing room. Mercedes had called for Kaufman's best driver, knowing it was Tommy, and requested a pickup from the warehouse district. UC Cabs knew of Tommy and Mercedes and dispatched 6 cabs to ambush him.
It's a trap!
A demolition derby erupted, and cars exploded. After what seemed to be an eternity, VC Cab's enforcer chimed in. Tommy fought hard and well, and it all paid off, and he was victorious. Unfortunately for VC Cabs, 7 cars were totaled, and Tommy even managed to encourage the VC Cab enforcer to retire. The dock that Tommy stormed when he was stealing the fastest boat had gone up for sale. Naturally, Tommy bought it. It turns out it was an oregano import business. He ran the inaugural pickup and made a nice profit, and the business also took off. There was an ice cream business for sale. The old lady who managed it hated kids and began to use the ice cream business as a front to sell something that wasn't ice cream. After purchasing the business, Tommy manned the truck and went to sell ice cream, posing as a cherry popper ice cream truck driver. The Vice City Police Department saw right through the front and sent their very own Officer Stickbutt to cease operations. Unfortunately for Stickbutt, this attempt was unsuccessful. The business still runs.
Stickbutt, break off pursuit. Panama kicks too much ass and shreds way too hard. You'll never catch him.
Tommy purchased a movie studio. The director made films that, let's face it, isn't exactly safe for work. I will not take the time to explain this.
And you can't make me.
Tommy was hired to be a casting director. He went recruiting and found a woman by the name of Candy. Unfortunately, her previous employers were sad to see her go. Mercedes was also more than willing to be a star in the film. Tommy was tasked with piloting a plane and dropping posters to promote the upcoming film. I guess that task was pretty straightforward. Congressman Alex Shrub was a married man who just happened to be friendly with Candy and for whatever reason loved to be called Martha by her.
Why did you say that name?
And also did not want the movie to see the light of day. Tommy encouraged Shrub by taking his photo as he and Candy were going for a swim. His FBI protection detail didn't appreciate Tommy's photography skills and began shooting at him, so he made a daring escape. One final step was needed to promote the upcoming film, a spotlight. Tommy was tasked with taking a motorcycle and making a series of jumps from building to building to make it to said spotlight. Tommy purchased Sunshine Autos. He was shown a board that consisted of a list of cars that he needed to acquire. So Tommy did just that. This was a long and difficult process of finding the right car, though it was some mindless fun. Get it? Because it's Grand Theft Auto. Okay, here's another take. I didn't just commit Grand Theft Auto. I committed more carjackings than Grand Theft Auto. So, does that make this carjacking Vice City? Am I the only one that thinks that? No, I don't know. Umberto Robina was the head of the Cuban gang in Vice City, and he had a massive problem. The Haitians kept attacking his people, and it was all out war. This war that Tommy was tasked with starting earlier was still roaring. The Black Ops chef had a name. His name was Leo, and Umberto knew him. But since Tommy was the new owner of the phone, he was now meant for the job that was being set up. Old Umberto wanted Tommy to prove that he did indeed have big cojones. He was tasked with driving a boat from checkpoint to checkpoint, thus proving it. All this while being told about how grandes sus bolas estamos cada 5 segundos. Now I get it. Tommy can't swim, and it would be brave driving a fast boat and risking a flip. This cojones talk was seriously getting out of hand. Just call Tommy brave, please. Upon returning to the cafe, Tommy was told about a massive counterattack that the Cuban gang was mounting. Forced to find a 4-seater vehicle, he picked up some backup and mounted a rescue operation because the Cubans were in trouble. The Haitians put up a fight, and they had gunmen everywhere and even a sniper. Tommy and the Quick Reaction Force managed to rescue the other Cuban gang members and stole a van that the Haitians were holding onto and got it to the cafe. The Haitians had a stash house that was at a dock, and the only way to get there was by water. There were a lot of boats and guards. Tommy was tasked with acquiring 2 briefcases for Umberto. How he managed to get away from the chaos with his life and the briefcases is a mystery. Auntie Paulette gave Tommy a call and asked him to come over to her place as she had something she wished to discuss. Turns out she was the Haitian gang leader. She requested that Tommy retrieve some briefcases. Trouble was, the Vice City Police Department was watching every single one. How Tommy managed to get the briefcases to her while every cop in Vice City was trying to kill him and still managing to do it anyway was a crazy feat. Tommy went back to Auntie Paulette and was under the impression that they were meeting for the first time. She tasked him with bombing Cuban cars and boats with an RC plane. He did just this, and due to her herbal voodoo tea, he forgot. Auntie Paulette called Tommy again, and he again returned to her. He believed that they were meeting for the first time, again. She tasked him with providing sniper support to the Haitians, who were fighting the Cubans not too far from her house. She provided Tommy with a rifle, and he went to work. After it was all said and done, there were casualties on both sides, and he forgot his role in helping the Haitians. Umberto had one last job for Tommy. Steal a Haitian car and set bombs at a factory. It was the factory that he and the Cubans stormed days earlier, so a Trojan horse operation began. Tommy and 2 other drivers parked their cars in the heart of the factory. They fought through a lot of Haitian gangsters and planted bombs throughout the factory at key points within the structure. Tommy and the Cubans barely had enough time to escape until...
How much of this can you take?
This put an end to Tommy's role in the war. Don't worry, he did survive. Phil Cassidy was a gun runner by trade in VC. He called Tommy as he needed help with some merchandise. He needed Tommy to acquire the merchandise. As Tommy came over to Phil's property, he was running as some of his boomshine was about to explode. After they knew everyone was okay, Tommy went to acquire the merchandise. There were several trucks that were hauling a lot of hardware, and Tommy liberated them. He brought them back to Phil and was well paid. For a celebration of getting guns for his business, Phil invited Tommy over to his place to drink some boomshine. What was supposed to be mindless fun turned explosive. As the device didn't explode, Phil grabbed the detonator, then the explosive went off, tearing off Phil's arm. The boomshine that had been consumed had both Tommy and Phil intoxicated, thus making a trip to the hospital quite the experience. Kent Paul happened to be a studio recording guy. He knew musicians and helped record records. He knew Love Fist, which was a band on tour in Vice City. They asked for a favor: drugs. Tommy attempted to buy drugs off of a dealer, but the dealer took him for a sucker. This was a mistake which cost him his life. Kent Paul called Tommy again and explained that the boys were lonely. Tommy knew the right girl, Mercedes. Kent Paul asked Tommy to hire Mitch Baker and his biker gang as security for Love Fist's upcoming performance. Mitch was hesitant at first and asked Tommy to prove himself. Essentially, it was a street race in which Tommy had to win to be able to join the motorcycle club and hire them as security because they don't do favors for anybody but their own. Tommy returned to Mitch and was frustrated. So Mitch explained that he was joining a family in which Tommy was hesitant, but Mitch explained his knowledge and what he knew of Tommy and the prison time that he had done. Tommy was tasked with causing mayhem. Some unknown gang stole Mitch's bike. He was tasked with getting it back. Once this task was complete, Mitch and his motorcycle club would run security. Tommy completed the task and returned Mitch's bike. Love Fist had one crazy fan that wanted them dead. Tommy drove the Love Fist limo to an autograph signing without the band to keep them safe. The crazy fan saw him and then made a run for it. But Tommy caught whatever that was, and well, turns out the crazy fan didn't die. This scared the band, so Love Fist didn't really feel safe with their usual driver. They got Tommy to drive the limo. The crazy fan, however, put a bomb in the car. Tommy had to keep the car at about 60 miles an hour for the bomb not to go off. The band somehow defused the bomb, and Tommy got them to their show safely. Tommy finally purchased a printing factory that he intended to keep legit, but Ernest Kelly told him that they could print counterfeit money and make a nice tidy profit. The thing is, they needed to know of the whereabouts of a dock worker who knew a syndicate that was operating. Ernest only knew rumors, though, so Tommy went to Kent Paul. He knew the dock workers, so Tommy persuaded the dock worker and inspired him to tell him where the counterfeit syndicate was going to be next.
Oh, you'll tell me. But first, you might want to look away for this. Now this little piggy went to...
He went back to the factory with that information. The counterfeit syndicate was making a drop not too far from where his dock business was. So Tommy went to get some plates that would be like Viagra to the Secret Service investigating counterfeits. The syndicate was made up of all women who were all deadly shots. It was a chore to get the plates off them, in which Tommy did.
Oh my God, I almost died. No. I almost died. FBI, clear right.
Some mafia guys roughed up Ernest. It was pretty bad. Bad enough for him to be in need of a hospital. Sonny Forelli was pissed that Tommy wasn't giving him any action from his businesses. He sent some of his associates to tax every single one of those businesses. Tommy found them and killed them all. Back in 1971, Sonny Forelli sent Tommy Vercetti to kill one man in Hartwood. 11 men were there waiting to ambush him. He was forced to kill every single last one of them. He was arrested and charged, and the judge sentenced him to 15 years in prison. He was also given the nickname, the Harwood Butcher. Throughout making progress in building businesses and establishing relationships with businesses that were already operational, Lance was becoming rather difficult to work with. He called several times, feeling underappreciated. Tommy had attempted to ask him to take a few days off in hope that Lance would. But a surprise would be hitting Tommy hard. Sonny Forelli stopped by, expecting to be paid for Tommy's hard work. Ken was ordered to load up a couple of briefcases full of fake cash. Lance was ordered to gather the men. They went to speak with Sonny. Tommy put 2 and 2 together and figured out that it was Sonny who had set him up 15 years ago. 11 men were hired to kill him. Those 11 men died and took 15 years away from his life. Sonny was still powerful, though. Powerful enough to make a deal with Lance. He betrayed Tommy. As all this went down, a gunfight erupted. Forelli's men were everywhere. Tommy defended his home, killing wise guy after wise guy. Lance tried to kill him. As soon as Tommy shot at him, though, he ran upstairs, and what seemed to be an eternity of killing wise guys, Tommy eventually killed Lance, and he pushed back into the mansion. His men came out of nowhere to back him up. Sonny walked back in and began shooting at Tommy as well. Unfortunately for Sonny, Tommy was a better shot. When it was all said and done, Tommy, Ken, and the men that worked with them were the only ones left standing. Everyone they fought was dead. There was no more up north. They were free to do business as they saw fit. What was left was a beautiful sunrise and a new beginning. This is the story of Vice City.
It's all down south now.
Wait, does that mean what I think it means? Tommy, baby!
What do you think it means?
That we're in charge. I mean, that you're in charge. Oh, Tommy!
You know, Ken, I think this could be the beginning of a beautiful business relationship. After all, you're a conniving, backstabbing, two-bit thief, and I'm a convicted psychotic killer and drug dealer.
I know. Ain't it just beautiful?